helping you navigate the second half of your life. Today's show is sponsored by Find Houston Senior Care, your one-stop shop for everything senior care and senior living in the greater Houston area. Visit findhoustonseniorcare.com today. And now, here's your host, Catherine Watson. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Life After 50 show. I'm here today with Chef Shonah Jefferson, and I'm really excited to talk to her because she has a unique business that I think you are going to want to hear about. Shawna, would you tell the people just a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure. Thank you. First of all, thanks for having me, Catherine. I'm really glad to be here and to be able to talk to your listeners about nutrition and eating well after the age of 50. So I am a native Houstonian. Actually, being a chef is my third career. My first career was in corporate America. My second career was as a lawyer, and now I am a chef. I grew up in the restaurant business here in Houston, and I really caught the cooking bug when I lived in Savannah, Georgia. And when I came back to Houston, I helped my dad out in his restaurant and went to culinary school. And I knew I didn't want to own a restaurant, and I came across the concept of Chefs for Seniors. And they were actually it's a national franchise. We started back in 2013 up in Wisconsin. And I actually bought a franchise almost 2 years ago. It's in November 2018. So I'll have my second anniversary next month. And this is just something I love to do. I saw it as a way of doing well by doing good and serving a community that really needs it. So what we do at Chefs for Seniors North Houston is we help seniors to maintain their independence and to improve their quality of life by preparing healthy meals in the comfort of their homes. So I have a staff of professional chefs that we do the grocery shopping. We go into our clients' homes. We have menus that they select from, and we prepare a week's worth of meals. We package them, we label them, we put them in the refrigerator, and all they have to do is reheat and eat. And we customize our meals based on their dietary needs and restrictions. So low sodium, diabetic friendly, vegan, vegetarian. If they have acid reflux, we make whatever changes that need to be made. If they tell us they don't like broccoli, we don't include broccoli.
I was getting ready to ask you that. Do they have some input over, because seniors a lot of times feel like they don't have a lot of input in their lives. They feel like sometimes their choices are taken away from them. So I love the fact that you do get the input from them. Food is something that kind of brings people together. And it's one of the few pleasures that a lot of our seniors have left, especially with the COVID lockdowns. And so many seniors are stuck in their homes because of underlying health conditions. They really can't get out and go anywhere. And even though some of the restaurants may be open, they're afraid to go out. So this is a great alternative. And I know a lot of families out there, a lot of my listeners are adult children, and they're worried. They're worried that their mom or their dad is just not eating well. And I know as you get older, sometimes you just don't feel like cooking, especially if you're trying to cook for one person. It's just not a lot of fun, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So I'm sure they really appreciate having you come in and do that for them. And especially if you're including them in the process and the choices and all of that.
Yes. That's a great part about the best part about our service. In fact, I have a client who lost his wife a couple of years ago. And at first I was skeptical as to whether it would work because I couldn't replicate his wife's cooking, but I just kept trying. I kept asking him, okay, well, what about this or what about this? And now we've come up with a menu that he likes. He eats the same menu every 2 weeks, but it's working. It's working for him, and he's happy. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a big concern when somebody loses a spouse because, like I said, they
Hmm.
go down to trying to cook for one person, and maybe they were the spouse who didn't cook. Maybe
No,
the
they
other
didn't.
one cooked, like this
Hmm.
gentleman, the wife cooked, or maybe it was the husband. My mother-in-law, it was her husband that cooked. He did most of the cooking.
Hmm.
And so when he was gone, man, she was lost. And she was really thin to begin with. She couldn't afford to be losing weight,
No.
so that
Yeah,
was a
that's not
big
good.
concern I know for our family was, is she eating well? And when I'd ask her, what did you eat? It was always the same thing. I ate a sandwich. And
Hmm.
I don't know whether she really did or not, because I think she was just saying that to pacify me. But I think sometimes she maybe didn't even eat, and that was
Right.
a real worry for us.
Hmm.
So, if we're eating healthy food, that's going to help keep our immune system stronger. That's
Yeah.
going to help keep us just more mentally aware and alert.
Hmm.
It's just going to help all over. So,
Hmm.
yay for what you're doing. I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
it. So let's talk about some of the things that people might want to know about how aging affects our eating habits. And we talked about a couple of those things, but
Hmm.
tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so the thing is, as we age, our taste buds change, and actually they begin to deteriorate, which
Mhm.
then affects our desire to eat. Because if nothing tastes the way it used to, then it takes the joy out of eating. Now, the
Mhm.
interesting thing is the one set of taste buds that don't seem to deteriorate as much as the others are sweets.
I
So
was
that's
going to
why,
say,
yeah,
I still love
yeah.
chocolate, Shawna.
So that is the one. So with Chefs for Seniors, we don't prepare desserts for our clients because dessert is not a problem for most of our
Mhm.
clients. They have sweets and nibbles and cookies and stuff everywhere. But the other taste buds do deteriorate, and so when things don't taste the same, it people are not motivated to eat. The other thing is our teeth don't work the way they used
Mhm.
to, and so for a lot of people, if they can't chew their food and eat the things they used to enjoy, they just don't eat. And the idea of eating like a soft food diet just really doesn't appeal to a lot of people.
Mhm.
For some people, they just can no longer stand on their feet in front of a
Right.
stove and prepare meals. Medications affect. That's another thing that affects our taste buds. So medications affect what we can and can't eat, how we digest food. So there's just so many different things that happen as we age that will affect our eating habits. Loneliness. If
Mhm.
someone is living alone or they lose their spouse and they're used to sitting at the dinner table and having that companionship and sharing a meal with someone. And when there's no one there to share a meal with, well, a lot of people just it takes away their desire to really eat.
Right. I always recommend to adult children, if you can, set up mom or dad with an iPad or some kind of tablet or
Mm-hmm.
something and have meals with them. So if you
Mm-hmm.
can't be
That's a
there
great idea.
physically, set up that thing so that every day at 5:30 or whatever time they eat, you sit down with them and have a meal and you talk about what
Mm-hmm.
you're eating. And if they have a nice healthy meal that you've prepared for them, or one of your team members have prepared for them,
Mm-hmm.
all the better, and
Yes.
they can have a discussion about, wow, what did Shonah cook for you today? What do you got? Wow, I wish I had that, and this is what I'm eating, and that they can still have that connection. It's not as great as being there in person, but
No.
sometimes we can't be there in person. So it's the next best thing. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons that our eating habits do change. I'm waiting for that slowdown of desire, though, Shawna. I'm 64 and I haven't had it yet.
No,
When
that's
does
a
it
no. That no,
happen?
that's the. I will honestly say that's a good thing because a challenge for us is actually preparing meals for single females because and usually it's after the mid 70s is when they're
Mm,
when you really see a change in the amount of food that single females eat, and even men as well, but more so for single females. And so it's a challenge for us to figure out how to prepare meals that are still delicious and diverse, but in smaller portions, and where they still feel like they're getting a variety and they're not eating the same thing over and over again. So
Right.
I'm always happy to have clients. I'm happy for all of my clients, and we work with them, and it's really it's a lot of fun trying to figure out how to make things work for every client. But the clients who have the bigger appetite, it's easier to prepare meals for you guys. But the other clients, it's a little more of a challenge, but it's one that we're up to, and it's always exciting to me when I'm able to make the changes to their menus and to their diets, and they continue. They're like, "Oh, I love your service, and this is great. I'm eating." For some of my clients, they're gaining weight, and they're just very happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So how do these healthy eating, how does healthy eating help seniors to age in place? Let's put that together.
Okay. So the number one reason why a lot of seniors end up having to leave their homes is food. They either they're living alone, or if it's a married couple, but their children either don't live nearby, or even if their children live nearby, they're busy. They're trying to take care of their own families. They're trying to cook for their own families. And it's difficult for them to cook for mom and dad as well. And so what ends up happening is, well, they eat popcorn, they'll eat a bowl of cereal, they'll buy sweets, they'll go to the grocery store, but they'll buy lean cuisines, they'll buy processed foods, all of those things that are high in sodium, high in preservatives. They let their taste buds dictate to them. So if what they want is sweets, they eat sweets. Well, none of that is good for them. It's not a balanced diet. It's not healthy eating. And, food is medicine. And so when seniors can eat healthy, when they can eat more nutritional meals, then that improves their health outcomes and enables them to stay at home longer, because they're healthier. They can continue to get around. They can continue to do some of the things that they love to do. Did you know that over a third of the seniors that are admitted to ERs in the United States are malnourished? And that is just because of their lack of access to healthy nutritional food. So that's the biggest thing. If we can get seniors and keep them eating healthy and eating balanced meals, they're going to be able to stay in their homes longer.
Yeah, I totally believe that. My mother-in-law, her rheumatologist used to constantly be telling her, you need to eat more protein. You need to eat more protein, because she was, her muscles were wasting away and they weren't supporting her. And her joints were already in bad shape with her rheumatoid arthritis. So she needed those muscles to help support her body. But unfortunately, she didn't follow that advice. And maybe if we'd had somebody like you that could have enticed her and made it delicious and fun, and helped her, encouraged her to eat, that would have been helpful. Absolutely. So what are some healthy foods that all seniors should be adding to their diets?
Okay, so let's look at whole foods. So processed foods are bad for all of us, but they're especially bad for seniors. So let's look at incorporating things like beans and nuts and seeds into our diet. So find some beans that you like. They're very high. They're high in protein. They're high in fiber, which we all need, especially seniors. So begin incorporating that into your diet. Nuts are high in healthy fat, so that's good for their bodies as well. Oatmeal, great, lowers cholesterol. It's a whole food. Try and eat the whole oats, rolled oats, not the processed oats, not the oatmeal in the bag that you heat up in the microwave. I know that's convenient, but unfortunately it's been processed and they add a lot of sugars to it. So eating chocolate, if you love chocolate, dark chocolate is really great. Adding yogurt, because that way you're getting, especially Greek yogurt has protein in it. So that's another way of getting protein. And then also you get great probiotics to help with your digestion in the yogurt. Blueberries are excellent, very high in vitamin C and antioxidant. Green vegetables, as many green leafy vegetables, think color. So you want to, seniors need to add as much color as possible to their plate. So green beans, spinach, red bell peppers, yellow bell peppers, just whatever you like. And even if it's the same food over and over again, like the client that I mentioned, at least I know he's getting green beans and peas every week because that's what he likes. He's eating his mashed potatoes. So potatoes are very high in potassium. So lots of fruits. That's the other thing. Other than blueberries, try adding strawberries, pears, oranges, bananas, especially if you're low on potassium. Bananas are an excellent source of potassium. If you've got potassium issues, then you want to eliminate the bananas and increase the amount of strawberries and blueberries in the diet. Calcium is very, very important for healthy bones. So and making sure seniors need to continue to drink their milk, the yogurt, eat plenty of cheese, drink plenty of water. That's another thing. A lot of seniors are dehydrated.
Absolutely.
Because they're not drinking enough water. So be sure to get in plenty of water. And it's important to eat breakfast. So that goes back to, eating the oatmeal, the bran flakes, things that are healthy for you, that are high in fiber, whole grain breads. So, but, find those things. Seniors need to find those things that they like to eat, and then just eat more of them, the healthy things that they like to eat. So that's just very, 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 very important. The other things that seniors need to watch, though, are things like their sugars and their sodium. And I think we'll talk a little bit more about sodium later. But yeah, just eat a balanced diet is very, very important.
Shawna, years ago, I listened to Dr. Andrew Weil. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's kind of a holistic doctor, but he's Harvard trained. I mean, he's an MD. And he made a statement that has always stuck with me, and it really makes sense. He says, when you go to the grocery store, he said, follow the perimeters of the store and pretty much skip the aisles. He said, there might be a few things on the aisles that are okay, but he said, for the most part, follow the perimeters, because you're going to get your fruits and your vegetables and your cheeses and your meats and your fishes and all of those things that are good for you. And that just always stuck with me. It was a really simple way to think about it. Really smart. Yeah.
And it's interesting you should say that, because that's the way we shop. When we go shopping for clients, we start with the produce first, and then we work our way. We work our way all the way around, from produce to meat, to dairy, to the eggs, and then we hit the middle aisles last. In the middle aisles, we're basically picking up things like brown rice and pasta and things like that. But we basically shop the perimeter and the beans. The other important thing I forgot to add that is important for seniors to add to their diet is they actually do need to make sure they're eating salmon or fish that's high in omega-3s. They need to add that to their diet, 6-ounce portion a couple of times a week.
And avocados are pretty good, aren't they?
Avocados, yes. They are very healthy fat.
Yeah. Now, Shawna, what if you have somebody that is really a sugarholic? They want to sprinkle sugar on everything. You talked about, eating the healthy oatmeal. Well, you're going to give them that bowl. They're going to dump sugar on top. How can you gradually wean them from having so much sugar?
So, and that, I'm glad you said wean, because it's a process. I don't recommend that people go cold turkey, because if they go cold turkey, they're not going to stick with it. So the important thing is to begin, cutting back. And maybe a good way to do it is to do half sugar and half stevia. So that way, stevia it's all natural. It has a much lower glycemic index than sugar. So you're still going to get that sweet taste, but without all of the sugar. Start replacing some of the sugar with fruit. So begin to substitute fruit.
I'm
for
going to put stevia
sugar.
up there just so people
Mhm.
that are not familiar with it. It's a sweetener, right? It's a
It's a
natural
sweetener,
sweetener.
but it's natural.
And you can
Yes.
find it at any grocery store, HEB,
Mhm.
Kroger's, wherever you shop, they'll have
Mhm.
stevia.
Yes.
And you can buy it in little packets. We
Mhm.
use the little packets in our coffee. Um, or
They
you can
also have
buy big,
liquid.
big packets and they have liquid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I just wanted to let them know that. Okay, so what are some of those tips on minimizing the sodium? Because for a lot of people, that's a problem. And
Mhm.
they've been told by their doctors they have heart issues or whatever. We want to eliminate anything that's going to cause more heart problems or strokes or anything of that sort, because that's going to make it a lot harder to age in place, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, definitely. So the thing about sodium is it's just about in everything that you buy on the aisles, especially the convenience food. So uh, older Americans should limit their sodium to 1,500 milligrams a day. So just keep that in mind. 1,500 is your magic number. So a big part of that is reading labels, taking a
Mhm.
look at the sodium that is in the food that we eat. Of course, now if you're buying fresh vegetables and fruits and even your protein, your beans and your meats and everything like that. If you're buying them and they're not processed, they're fresh, then of course that there's no sodium in those items.
Right.
So
Now,
you're looking at
can you add a little salt to them? I love my salt.
so just be creative with it. Just watch it. Like I said, 15 milligrams of sodium. The other thing to keep an eye on is not
How
all
much,
salt.
how much is that, Shauna? How much is
Um,
15 milligrams? I mean, how many spoons would it probably be a day?
so off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember how much it varies. So here's the thing: it varies from salt to salt, believe it or not. So
Really?
when you go to the grocery store and you buy your salt, you want to take a look at how much sodium is in a teaspoon of that salt. So
Interesting. I would have
kosher
never
salt,
guessed.
yeah,
Okay.
believe it or not. So
Yeah.
kosher salt is lower in sodium per teaspoon than any other kind of salt.
Wow.
So when you're shopping for salt, buy the kosher salt, and usually it's in bigger granules, but you can find the
Right.
fine kosher salt. So take a look at that. Look at your sea salt. Most people think sea salt is lower in sodium. It's not. It's just processed differently than
Hmm.
the iodized salt. So table salt is by far the worst as far as the amount of sodium per teaspoon. I'm just spouting numbers off the top of my
Hmm.
head. I think the difference is a teaspoon of table salt, depending on which brand you buy, you're looking at anywhere from 600 to 700 milligrams of sodium in a teaspoon.
Wow. Okay. That's kind of what I was trying to figure out. Okay.
Yes,
So it doesn't take a lot of
it
teaspoons.
doesn't take a lot of
I
teaspoons.
can't put a teaspoon on everything that I eat throughout the day. I'll
Right.
probably go over the amount.
Hmm.
Wow.
Right. Whereas your
Okay.
kosher salts, you're looking at anywhere from 300 to 500 milligrams
A little
per
bit better,
teaspoon.
but still you can't use a ton.
Right. And the thing is, if you're going to use salt, when you salt your food, salt it while you're cooking it.
Yes.
So
It
that's
tastes
a
so much
better way.
better.
It tastes
Hmm.
so much better. The salt has an opportunity to permeate the food while it cooks.
Hmm.
What you want to minimize is keeping that salt shaker on the table and shaking salt on your food after you cooked with it. So when you're using salt, use it sparingly and use it while you cook. So
Hmm.
if you're making mashed potatoes, or if you're boiling pasta, you can still put a little salt in the water just to boost the flavor a little bit in the pasta. But the other thing that you can do is replace salt with things that taste kind of salty but are not salty. So for example, use more lemon and lime
Hmm.
in your food. So because
Okay.
those sour taste buds are very similar to your salty taste buds.
Really?
So it's going to boost the flavor. You're still going to get kind of that little boost of salt, but you're also going to get the sour. And so that boosts the flavor. Using herbs and
Hmm.
spices If you're going to use spice mixes are great. Just check and make sure they don't include salt in them. Salt in them. So like all the Mrs. Dash, that whole line, none of that has salt, but they has lots of great herbs. Use more garlic and onion in your cooking to boost the flavor. Watch your condiments. So watch soy sauce is very high in sodium. If you like soy sauce and you want to use it, what I recommend is replacing that with something called cocoa aminos. Cocoa, now it's a little bit more expensive, probably about twice the price of soy sauce, but coconut, and it's made from coconuts, called coconut aminos, has a lower amount of sodium than soy sauce.
Okay, let me put that on the screen. So it's cocoa aminos?
Or coconut aminos, yes. And you can find it on the health food aisle, or in some stores, it's in the aisle with the vinegars, and in some stores, it's in the aisle with the soy sauce.
Is that correct?
Coconut aminos, that's correct.
Okay, all right.
So that's a great alternative to soy sauce. Or if you, or by low sodium. So you don't want to look, you want to look for low sodium. You don't want to look for reduced sodium or lower sodium. You're looking for low sodium. Now, if you really have to eat canned goods, you just prefer canned goods, now they make a lot of canned vegetables that are no salt added. So look for those. If you can't find no salt added canned vegetables, when you buy your vegetables, when you open the can, pour them into a colander and rinse them with water. That's gonna get rid of a lot of that excess salt that was in that liquid that they were canned in.
You know, that's interesting. My mother always did that. I never knew why. I'm not sure if she knew why, but she always did that. She always rinsed so I have too. So I guess I'm doing a good thing.
That's a good thing. Especially when you're buying your canned beans and things like that, rinse them off. And then just watch your ketchups, your mustards, your condiments, your salad dressings, read the labels and look at the amount of added salt and added sugar, and then just make changes accordingly.
They just put it in everything, don't they?
Yeah, it's a preservative.
Yeah. So what are some good foods to keep in the pantry, the refrigerator, and the freezer?
Okay, so in your pantry, especially if you know that you don't like to cook, you don't want to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, there are some great things that you can keep in your pantry that are convenient, that don't take very long to cook. So things like rice, brown rice, if you buy it in the bag and you're going to cook it, that could take 30 to 45 minutes. That's a deterrent for a lot of people. Well, now the great thing is they're making brown rice. Uncle Ben's and a lot of the grocery stores have their own brands. They're making rice in a packet, and you put it in the microwave, and in 90 seconds it's done. I've read the labels. I checked the labels on all of them. As long as you don't buy the rice that is flavored, that's the rice that has the added sodium. But just your plain brown rice, your basmati rice, your brown basmati rice, you can buy it in the packet. In 90 seconds, put it in the microwave, and it's done. It doesn't have any added sodium to it. You want to stock your pantry with those things that are convenient for you, like your beans, because that's where you're going to get your protein. Using dried beans is always great, but once again, that takes longer because you have to soak them the night before and cook them. Buying the canned beans is great. They have them. They have the ones that are no salt added. Tuna, keeping canned tuna and canned salmon is good. Especially the canned salmon, because once again, you're getting your omega-3s in, and you can add that canned salmon. You can add it, put it on top of rice. You can add it to your vegetables. You can add it to a salad. It's a great way to get that in. You also want to keep your oatmeal, your cereals, no sugar added. Your bran flakes, your Raisin Brans. All of those are good things to keep in your pantry. In your refrigerator, just keeping some fresh fruits, the fruits that you like. If it's strawberries that you like, keep strawberries handy, keep blueberries handy, keep your bananas handy, although they don't go in the refrigerator. The other thing is you just want to keep some fresh veggies in there too. Lettuce, if you like salads, lettuce, tomatoes are great. Keep some carrots in there to snack on. The carrots are great, beta carotenes, great for your eyes. And in your freezer, you keep your frozen vegetables, your frozen fruit. A great thing is to keep frozen fruit in your freezer. And if you have a blender, you can make a smoothie. You can put some yogurt, the frozen fruit, a little milk, maybe add a little stevia or a little honey to it to sweeten it. You can add some spinach to it, some kale to it. It's not going to change the flavor that much. It's going to make it a cool green color, but you're getting your greens in. So you can put that stuff in a blender. And I mentioned, of course, your frozen vegetables. So if you can't do fresh vegetables, the next best thing is frozen. In fact, sometimes the frozen vegetables are fresher than the fresh vegetables because they are picked and then flash frozen, and then they're bagged. So sometimes your frozen vegetables are fresher than your fresh vegetables in the grocery store.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So I tell you one thing I picked up at Costco recently is edamame. I love edamame, and they have a big bag of it. Of course, Costco sells everything in big bags, but inside the big bag are like 10 little bags, perfect size for one person. Heat it in the microwave in 2.5 minutes. That's my snack. So if my husband's eating chips, I have something I can snack on that's a little bit healthier.
Yes, edamame are great, especially, you're getting your soy protein in. So it's a great way to get that in.
Yeah. Well, this has been so enlightening and so I love all of the information that you have. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Unfortunately, we're running a little over, but I kind of figured that might happen today. I want to make sure that people can get in touch with you. I'm going to put up your website, and it's chefforseniors.com/North-Houston. Now, she does have chefs that work all over the greater Houston area, even down in Clear Lake, Sugar Land, just all around the city. So don't let the North Houston stop you from going there. Go to the website, find out more about what they have to offer. And Christmas is coming up. I have to put a plug for you because we were talking about this earlier, but Christmas is coming up. What an excellent, excellent gift for if you're looking for something for your aging parent and you don't know what to get them. That would be just an amazing gift, I think. So something to think about. And here's her phone number. If you want to contact Shawna directly, it's 832-956-1848, and you can just give her a call. And again, we're so happy to have you on the show. We'll have you back again, probably in 2021, and looking forward to seeing how your business grows, because I know it's just going to take off like gangbusters. There's so much need for this. So thanks for sharing your knowledge and your expertise with us today.
Thanks, Catherine.
Everybody, thanks for showing up today. Please share this video with friends and family that you think might benefit from it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would benefit from this. And we'll see you next time. Welcome to the Life After 50 show, helping you navigate the second half of your life. Today's show is sponsored by Find Houston Senior Care, your one-stop